Honey, I don't know how. Okay, fine. Oh my gosh, Alex, seriously, babe, you gave me a big one? Welcome back to Hannah Stevens Diaries. I'm a brand new mom. Well, maybe not brand new. My son is almost a year old. I still feel like a new mom. Have always wanted to start a YouTube channel and finally I'm taking the plunge. Probably the worst life season to start something new like this. I barely have the time to shower. So how do I have the time to edit and make videos? I don't know. We have traveled a decent amount with our son. We're going to be talking about some of the things that I've learned traveling with my son. So there's 10 tips specifically. Okay, tip number 1. If you're breastfeeding or formula feeding, especially if you're breastfeeding, you want to take a bottle on the plane of what your baby will need. It is so hard to breastfeed when you're on a plane and you're in those cramped airline seats and you've got your bag, the baby, your partner if they're with you, like there's just a lot going on. I found it very challenging to breastfeed and figure out how to do that without exposing myself to the whole plane. I found it really helpful to bring my hand pump, to pump a bottle before we get on the plane so that my baby has a bottle and I don't have to worry about, you know, breastfeeding in my clothes and everything. It's just easy, especially if you're with your spouse, you can just pass them off to the spouse. It's just easier for everybody. I would just highly recommend. So when you're getting all of your stuff ready to get on the plane, just pump a bottle, have the bottle ready. And that goes into my second tip. You know, as an adult, it can really mess with your ears when you go on planes because of the altitude changes. It is the same for babies, especially when they can't talk to you and tell you that their ears are bothering them. The way that we have prevented that in the past in traveling is by breastfeeding or bottle feeding during takeoff and during landing. This helps to open their ears up as they're kind of opening their jaw and closing and swallowing and things like that. It really helps to do that. So that's a huge thing. You don't want your baby screaming because of their ears for the rest of the day, do you? No, you don't. So do it. All right, tip number 3 is a little bit extra, but I would much rather be fully prepared for the worst case scenario than not. And there have been situations that we have gotten into where we've been trapped overnight. I like to have a little carry-on piece of luggage with me, not only for extras like diapers and extra outfits, but also for myself, for like a toothbrush, toiletries, small things that you probably won't need, but you know that like if you get trapped, if your plane gets delayed, if it gets canceled, just that you have those things readily available to you. When it comes to having space in your own bag, it's very helpful for that because then you can keep the essentials in the diaper bag, like things that you may need just in the next couple hours, then things that you know that you won't need for a while, you can keep in the carry-on so things aren't so packed in there. Very helpful that way. Tip number 4, kind of breaking the rules a little bit. They probably won't let you do this, but you just have to try because it really changes the whole experience if you have a lap child. If your baby is a good sleeper in the car, this will be amazing for your baby. They will fall asleep so much easier than if they were on you. If you're able to take your car seat on the plane, take it. But you can't just take your car seat on the airplane. You have to ask the front desk if it's a full flight. If it is a full flight, you're not getting in. But if it's not a full flight, you can wait until the very end, then get on the plane, and then ask if someone can switch with you and if you guys can basically maneuver to be able to take your car seat on and have an extra seat. You have the freedom to like pee if you need to watch a show, to drink a drink. Like if I have a baby on a carrier, I can't pull that like thing in front of me down. Like there's no way I can hold a drink on a tray. Like that whole thing is going to be the baby the whole time. Ask and see, just ask. And if it's a no, then it's a no. But I've had times where they let me on with the car seat and it just changed the entire experience for me. So tip number 5, we had an experience where we were trapped in the Denver airport. Our plane wasn't going out anymore and we couldn't find a flight until the very next day. So we were trapped during a snowstorm. I also had food poisoning. It was just, identify and find the nursing/family rooms in the airport. These are little rooms that have usually like a couple chairs, a couch, carpet, a changing station, and most importantly, a lock on the door. So if you guys have a layover or if you are by yourself and you have a layover and you just need some breathing room, you just need to be able to freely change your baby's diaper and without a bunch of people around in the bathroom or nurse without worrying about flashing somebody. I remember vividly being in that nursing and family room and I was throwing up, but just to feel like we had the privacy in that kind of situation, and It was, yeah, anyway, I could go on and on, but definitely find those rooms. Tip number 6. Most airlines let you get on as a family before everyone else gets on. Some families may love this. For me, I find it very unhelpful when you're in this baby stage, because if you have, especially if you have a mobile baby like crawling around, getting on the plane, being on the plane is a challenge. Sitting in one seat for half an hour or longer until you take off extra, not about it. Not about it at all. So what we do is we wait until the end so that we can get all of our stuff in order, we can eat, we can change his diaper, we can have extra playtime. That way we limit the amount that we're kind of constrained in the seat. It may work for you to go on first, doesn't work for us, so I don't know, maybe don't do that. All right, let's finish this up. Still waking up. Tip number 7, usually what I'm doing on the plane is holding him in my baby carrier, so he's strapped to me, and then bouncing him to sleep. If you don't have a short layover, try to get seats in the back and being close to that kind of open area. If you're in the middle of the plane and you have to bounce your baby up and down in the middle of the aisle, that is really hard. Okay, we've got 3 more points. 3 more points. Point number 8, don't be afraid to ask people for help. People are actually so nice. Like, you hear horror stories about people being annoyed or hating you that your baby is crying and all that stuff. People are actually so empathetic and compassionate. Like, I have been brought to tears before with how nice someone was to me in a very hard moment on a plane. It's rare that there's a person that's actually like mean or rude about you struggling with your baby. Okay, tip number 9 is mostly for me, or for you, the parent. Download like audiobooks or podcasts instead of taking books or having shows to watch, because it is very hard when you have a baby strapped to you to have the space to watch a show on your phone or computer or whatever, to actually have like the space to open up a book and read it. Like, it's just easier to listen. That way you can get up and move around, bounce the baby if you need to, and you still feel like you have something that's entertaining going on. Trust me, I've been caught trying to do that stuff. Is very hard. Last point. Last point may seem kind of obvious, but whoop, if your baby is this age and starting to eat solid, take some pouches or some like teething crackers with you in your diaper bag, because the chances are that you might not find something right away to feed your baby in an airport. It's very hard. And so yeah, that's all. Those are my baby tips for travel. I can probably think of more if you guys are curious about more. Honestly, I could do a whole video on traveling tips with a baby who's eating solids. That was a lot. As always, thanks for watching, and stick around for some bloopers and imperfections of the making of this video after this, and I will see you guys next time. Before I had gotten in this life season. Okay, tip number 1. If you're wait. Okay, can't even remember what I wrote down. Start over. Prevent that. So the way